Sūrat Luqmān is the 31st chapter of the Muslim holy book, the Quran. It is composed of 34 verses and takes its title from the mention of the sage Luqman in verses 12 to 19. It was revealed in the middle of Muhammad's Meccan period, and is thus usually classified as a Meccan surah. Context: the focus of this surah, once broken down into its many elements, can be seen as emphasizing principles of moderation. The surah uses the mustard seed analogy to emphasize the degree to which God maintains his purview over man's actions, possibly emphasizing the fact that any evil or good deed, no matter how small, is recorded and will be brought out by Allah during the Day of Judgment. A final point of focus for Surah 31 comes down to the purpose of God's creation. 31 to 29 and 31 to 20 show how God's intention through creation was to better mankind, and his signs are theoretically everywhere, from rain to vegetation. This emphasis once again reminds people of the subservience to Allah, while also driving home the idea that man is meant to do good on the earth. Man's purpose is to serve God, while the earth has been created in order to facilitate man's needs. Structure: Surah 31 features many intertextual references, a quality that Quranic narrative is known for, enhanced by what Carl Ernst calls ring structure. Surah 31 can be reinterpreted based on its inherent conceptual breaks. This is the proposed breakdown of Surah 31 and its ring structure. A. Verses 1 to 11: Omniscience and self-sufficiency of God for the betterment of mankind. Pt. The verses 2 to 5: the righteous are mentioned and the good habits are encouraged. Verses 6 to 7: the disbelievers are highlighted, contrasting the early practices of pious practices. The verses 8 to 11: paradise is revealed as reward. God's omnipotence is prominently highlighted as being predominantly for the betterment of man. B. Verses 12 to 15: rules and guidelines. The verses 12-13: Luqman bequeaths knowledge to his son. No partners may be ascribed to Allah, and he is the highest power. Verse 14: obey and be good to parents, a powerful reference to the struggle of motherhood. Verse 15: it is reiterated that believers should not obey those which ascribe partners to God. X. Verses 16-17: the chiastic middle. Verse 16: omnipotence of God is compared to ability to see everything. Verse 17: it is revealed through prayer, forbidding wrong, and employing moderation, are the values a believer should aspire to. B. Rules and guidelines. Pt. The verses 18-19 employ manners and moderation in society to better follow Allah. A. Verses 20 to 34: omniscience and self-sufficiency of God for the betterment of mankind. Pt. The verses 20-21: disbelievers are called out once again and reminded of the punishment. Verses 22: believers counter the disbelievers. The verse 23: the Prophet should not be sad that disbelievers are astray. Verse 24 to 28: the omnipotence and infinite scope of God's power is reiterated. The verse 29 to 32: all of God's acts are for the betterment of mankind.